The MCU could use a Kilgrave 2.0 as well.
How do you bring him back? How do you bring him back into the MCU?
I mean, we're gonna have Fantastic Four set in the '60s. Why not have another show set in the early 2000s?
What if it's revealed that he was a twin and his name is Livgrave, and he uses his powers for good?
Welcome back to the break. Welcome back to the break room, everybody. I'm Zach Huddleston, and joining me today, I'm thrilled to have Maude Garrett.
Whoa!
And Brandon Barracks. On today's show, some Kang news. Remember him? He's in the Multiverse Saga, right? We have some updates on that. That's no moon. That's the next Star Wars show. And those actors, they're always trying to snag that next gig. So we're going to do our regular check-in on thirsty thespians. Who out there is angling for some work? All of that and more on today's special headline show.
Woo!
Hit the graphic. There it is.
Beautiful graphic.
Brief.
Beautiful.
We kept it tight today. It's a Monday. There's no time to waste. All right, first up, we got a ton of news about release dates for several projects we've been anticipating. And this is great news for us here at New Rockstars, and maybe for you as well. You can start planning what you're going to be watching and when. This is interesting news. You know, maybe Maude has some thoughts about this too.
I do have thoughts.
A new Game of Thrones spinoff, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, will premiere in 2025.
What?
So that's exciting.
So
of course,
what's the Hedge Knight? We're all wondering.
Yeah, what is
what's
the
going
Hedge
on?
Knight?
So this is about, I think, 100 years prior to the events of the Game of Thrones saga that we saw on television.
Okay.
Do you remember how you had Tyrion and Pod? Pod was like his squire, and like they had like a little adventure. I think it was around like season 2.
Yeah.
It was like a little
Pod,
fun moment.
Pod
maybe
famously
season
had
3.
a magical member.
Tripod.
Right?
Yeah, he was a tripod.
Yeah.
Pod the God.
Try. Pod, Rick. It's a little bit like that. So you've got the Hedge Knight and his squire, and they're on adventures. It's Duncan and the Egg.
Yeah.
So that's people who know about sort of the books and stuff. That's what it's going to be focusing on. How it's going to be an entire series, not sure. Why this one's going ahead when several other pilots that have even been shot did not come to fruition, not sure.
Yeah.
Didn't S.J. Clarkson, who just did Madam Web, didn't she put together like a pilot for a Game of Thrones spinoff show, and that one didn't get picked up?
There's a lot that...
There's been a lot.
there were a few that
you know,
didn't.
Maude mentioning that Naomi Watts one was shot, completely shot and finished, and then they just scrapped it, didn't make the series.
Was it a $5 million production? I think
it was
they
something
did
like
for
that.
Just for
Well,
the
and even
pilot?
House of the Dragon, they didn't originally, they weren't going to have that long 6-episode kind of lead up into it, right? Or not 6 episodes, but like 3 episodes in the past.
Got it. They weren't going to
They
do
added that in
flash
later
forward.
to be
Oh,
like...
it was so important to have that.
Right. It really established Alicent and Rhaenyra's whole dynamic.
Yeah.
They weren't going to do that originally, and that was like added in later
So,
to be like, oh, we need to kind of explain why.
Speaking of which, we still don't have an exact release date, but we know we're getting House of the Dragon Season 2 this summer.
Yes.
We don't know the exact date, but we're getting it this summer. And so then this series, The Hedge Knight, to follow next year. So, like, could we be in a world where we can expect a Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, some kind of George R.R. Martin product every year?
So that's fascinating, because I would have thought they would have utilized the hype of this show, which really put fantasy on the map, and then failed the landing so spectacularly that I guess it kind of like squandered the name a little bit. I don't know if they needed a breather from that. I would have if it were me. If they had so many...
And they got that breather, right? It took a couple years for them to get House of the Dragon out.
I would have just been like, the next thing, haha, look over here now, if I were in the game.
Interesting.
You know what
But I
mean?
think like House of the Dragon was really well received.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think people are pretty hyped about the second season of that. It'll be interesting. I think it's also, Maude mentioning like, yeah, this was Duncan Egg, was it a novella? Or it's, I
think it was. Yeah, I
it's a
think it was like
shorter
one of the
series.
short.
And so it could be interesting. This might not be an ongoing series.
Yeah, I
they're
took it to be
planning
just like a
to be
limited-
mini series and have maybe a very different tone, right? We might not see a lot of dragons and giant, 1,000-man battles or whatever in this kind of a series.
No,
right?
it's like a wandering... honestly, what I'm picturing, where are my Knight's Tale fans?
Yeah.
Do you remember how they were like walking about and they discovered like Geoffrey Chaucer, I believe it was, and like added it into this little clique?
Sure.
I picture it like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe a little bit more comedic, a little bit more, anecdotal. Yeah. We also got looking back to the Game of Thrones and D.B. Weiss and David Benioff, the two showrunners of that show. They did an interview. I think they're out there promoting Three Body Problem, their upcoming Netflix
Read the book.
feature. Is it a feature? No, it's a series.
I think it's a series.
But they were kind of telling some tales about their Game of Thrones experience, including that they originally pitched HBO to have the final season be 3 movies that were theatrically released.
And they got a hard no for that.
And I love the quote. HBO said, it stands for home box office, not away box office. Which is also like, nobody calls it away box office.
They're making the home and away now.
Yeah, like sports teams. But I mean, so that's interesting. And then they also said that at the time, HBO was owned by AT&T. It's now owned by Warner Discovery, right? But and at the time, some executives from AT&T pitched them on shooting the Game of Thrones show in vertical format so that it would play better on phones.
No, absolutely not. It's disgusting.
That didn't get accepted. But
Short form content lives on phones.
Right.
That-
Listen, this was the Quibi buzz. We
and
were
as
all
someone
high on
that had
Quibi
a
at the
show
time.
on Quibi,
You could watch it vertically.
and
it was perfect.
And both ways.
And
That was
both ways.
That was its entire
This
appeal.
little bit feels like maybe one dude at the meeting asked that question.
yes, one dummy executive threw that out there.
No one took that seriously.
Yeah.
Except someone wanted to rat on him so bad and be like, this
Yeah.
idiot, write his name. He's thought that we could watch it on a phone.
Well, it's also Benioff and Weiss probably being like, if you're pissed at us for the
Yeah,
final
yeah.
season,
Right.
imagine how much worse it could have been.
Yeah, and if we wanted to do 3 movies and blah blah. Yeah, sure you did. Sure you did.
Also,
I don't know.
that would have been great.
That's not better. I don't know what's better about
Something
that.
that you love as a show.
How would
and
it
then
have been
transition-
broken down? Like having seen, what is it, they had 6 or 7 of the last season?
Yes.
And like it sort of peaked and they told the end of the entire saga and then they continued it and just watched literally the whole thing go up in flames. I'm just trying to think how that could be 3 successful movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm getting Hobbits all over
you
again.
know, the argument was that it felt
3
rushed.
movies when it should have been.
The final season felt rushed. Maybe they would have had more time, though. Usually, you can't do like 4-hour movies, you know?
No, it doesn't give you more. And their budget was already huge. It's not like they would have gotten a bigger budget.
You can't build up characters for 6 freaking seasons and then make their last character decisions not make any sense and not
she's
have
unhinged.
any
All right,
character
all right.
consistency.
She's unhinged.
All right.
Listen,
It don't make
she
sense.
forgot about all
Brand?
the
It's 2019.
Brand?
2019 mod has been reawoken.
She forgot about all the.
So
she's awake.
angry.
Is this our true detective?
She's awake. Yeah.
She's awake.
Guess I'll kill my lover who's also my aunt and I will also pay the punishment for that, but it must be done so this guy can be. No, it's shit.
Hey, you know what? That's life. You know, life shit sometimes. It's all great.
This
Speaking
is not
of-
life.
speaking of
This
things
is
that-
not life.
This was the past. This was our history.
Speaking of True Detective Night Country, according to Collider, Star Wars The Acolyte is going to be slated to start releasing on Disney Plus on June 5th.
Whoa, that's soon.
It is soon. We're excited about that. So, like, if Mod can give us the quick synopsis, but The Acolyte, again, reminder that this is a mystery thriller
Yep.
set in the era of the High Republic. We've still not seen any trailers or anything like
We've
that.
No
seen
trailer.
diddly dick about this, and that is a concern of mine. So this is supposed to be a mystery thriller that's like looking at all the shadowy secrets and the emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. Now, so this is 100 years prior to the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
This is when the Order is a lot different because what we've seen in the Skywalker saga is that Jedi have been eliminated and Sith have been sort of like under the radar the entire time. In fact, they've been working in high positions of power, non-discreetly as well. About 100 years before that, though, there were just as many Sith as there were Jedi. So they were kind of rising at the same time. What I think is interesting is why and how Jedi will defect. What is it about their teachings? What is it about, needing to rebel from sort of the Jedi path that they turn to being in the Sith? Like, what are the lures of the dark side? I think that's what we're going to get in Acolyte. What we know is that there's a lot of sort of no-name and very new actors that are headlining in this show.
Yes.
So I think they're investing in new talent, which
Yeah.
I'm wondering is, let's go long haul,
Yeah.
because we can get them fresh and green. We can sort of start molding their career path.
Cheap.
Well, it's also, I mean, we've seen possibly a new direction for Lucasfilm. We're getting a Mando and Grogu film, right? Like, so maybe they look at these series as a way to potentially launch film franchises, right?
I'm wondering if they're going to launch an era here. So we're looking at the demise of the High Republic. I'm wondering if they're going to make characters that have been referenced and mentioned, like Darth Plagueis. So it was Palpatine, aka Sidious, in the third of the prequels that allured Anakin to the dark side with this whole Darth Plagueis sort of
Darth Plagueis the Wise.
the legend where he
Yes.
was able to cheat death. So he was obsessed with being immortal, and that's why it was what the Sith sort of coveted over. And I'm wondering if that's going to be an Acolyte,
Yeah.
if Plagueis is actually going to be in this, because the dates
Probably.
work for it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You don't think
And
Plague-
rumored.
he died because his apprentice initiated the rule of two. So I think what we're going to see is a lot of people defecting over to the Sith side, and then the Sith all killing each other.
Ooh.
Right.
Like an Order 66, but for Sith kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, because for the fight of power, like two
Yeah.
power.
You don't think Emperor Palpatine was Darth Plagueis?
No.
You don't think so? You think they were separate?
I mean, he's gloating like it's something that he would have done.
So you
I think-
And he
I think-
technically cheated death.
Right.
as
I
we
think it'll
saw
be
in the-
revealed. I think my whole theory was that like Emperor Palpatine was always whoever the
Plagueis.
top Sith dude was always him. Like,
I
he
mean,
was
also,
Darth Plagueis, and then
Plagueis.
claims Plagueis. I like to say Plagius.
It's just with a
He was
soft
Darth.
G.
He was Darth
Your
Plagueis.
plagiarism
Yeah.
of no, okay.
In the South, we call him Darth Plagueis. I think that Darth Plagueis, he killed his own, or he made it seem like Darth Plagueis was killed by his apprentice.
You think it was him? He cheated his own death, and then he became the
Yes.
apprentice.
I
That's sick.
He's always been hiding and jumping around because even the rule of two we know is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Because Palpatine was always being like, Darth, you're my number one dude. Love
No,
ya.
well-
Also over here, here's 10 other
He
kids.
did get him to kill Dooku.
and now you're in charge of my 10 bastard children.
I think the thing I'm really excited about the murder mystery aspect of
Right.
this because I think like the Disney Plus Star Wars series have been best when they steer hard into a genre, right? Andor being like
Political
heist, political thriller, like all those little episode arcs that are like very specific. Or I think Manda was the best when it was like a Western, right? And so I'm excited to see what a murder mystery in the Star Wars.
Will we
universe
see
looks
Yoda?
like.
You want to put bets on Yoda?
I mean, he's.
They're going to throw Yoda.
Yaddle?
Yaddle?
They live. He was 900 when he passed.
You think we'll see R2 getting sold to the Naboo?
Is R2 just a chunk of ore?
I
that
think-
has the same voice?
How long does Watto live for? Will we see Watto? Hey! You ever heard of pod racing? I just invented it. I'm gonna make a lot of money out of
I
this.
wonder what Tatooine's going to be like 100 years
It'll be a
prior.
beautiful, lush
Verdant
green
forest?
place.
Yeah.
Well, we know it was green at one point, right? It was covered in oceans or whatever. Didn't they talk about that on one of these fucking shows? I don't know.
Is that Arrakis?
No,
okay.
no, it was Book of Boba Fett. Weren't the
that sounds right.
the Tusken Raiders talking about there used to be oceans, and it's gonna be I don't know.
Didn't see was a CC.
Don't go back to Tatooine.
Okay,
please, I'm begging you.
moving on to some other release dates. We found out that the first 3 episodes of The Boys season 4 will release on Prime
go.
June 13th, and then 1 episode of the season releasing weekly after that.
I know, it's annoying. I like
No,
it.
I'm sorry. I'm just excited for this show. I'm so ready for.
What do you think's going to happen in this season? I mean, there's always there's a villain of the season.
Right.
Can you remind where did season 3 end?
Well, season 3 ends and leads into Gen V, which is like a big component, and it follows.
We know some of the Gen V characters are going
Right.
to show up in this season.
Right.
Season 3 was very much Homelander
Black-
versus Starlight.
Black Noir's dead.
Yeah.
He was killed, but we see Black Noir in the trailer. Now, there's been some theories that that's maybe just a mannequin wearing the costume and they're unveiling something. But after the end of Gen V,
He said-
what?
No, I was going to say his identity's never been unveiled.
No one knows who he is
be
in the
somebody else
public,
playing
right?
the
Well,
character.
and there was the theory that what's his name from Gen V would take over. The guy that broke out of prison, Luke's younger brother.
Yep.
His name, Sam. I'm gonna go with Sam, because Sam and Mind Lady, man, I'm forgetting what's it.
This is how I recall
I
things,
know
by the way.
Sam and mind
chick with the
control
lips,
lady,
come on.
the chick with the eyes and the hands. They were basically the heroes of Godolkin, right? After what went down at the school, they were pulled out saying these guys stopped everyone, even though they were the ones initiating it all. But Sam, in theory, could replace Black Noir, but they have different body types. I don't know. But basically, the 7 is 3 people right now.
Yeah.
It's Homelander, the Deep, and A-Train, because everyone else is dead or gone.
Yeah.
They
Because
have
Maeve has disappeared, right? Like
Maeve faked her death. I think Vought thinks Maeve is dead, but we know Maeve is alive.
Yes.
Butcher has been using Compound V, or the 24-hour Compound
As
V.
has Jack
Huey.
Quaid's
As
character,
is Huey.
yeah.
But it's been rotting away his brain, right? So this might be the last season for the Butcher. This could be Homelander's last season. He now has his son. They've been red-pilled, right? His son, Homelander blasted a dude's head on live TV.
Yep.
Nobody said anything, and he was like, "Oh, this is cool. We're all cool with this. Cool." So that's where they're at right now. Like, world's a mess. Everything's
Interesting.
everything's
If
destroyed.
you haven't seen the show, now
Oh,
is
yeah,
your chance
spoiler
to
alert.
watch it
So
all.
sorry.
And it's leading into Gen V,
Yeah.
which I definitely recommend viewing. And there's a lot of Gen V content on this channel.
But The Boys is great. It's a lot of fun. They do things on this
And
show.
every
People
season-
die on this show, and it's great.
Yes, and every season they find like there's half a dozen set pieces.
They're incredible.
Like them flying into a whale or various body parts exploding in hypergraphic ways or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Like,
It's ick.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
delicious.
And like really fun, like very brutal fighting sequences.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun. In other news, our next Jurassic Park director has been announced. Gareth Edwards.
I'm excited about this, actually.
Yeah, I like this movie.
Most recently of last year's film, The Creator, and also of Rogue One of Star Wars fame, will be directing the Jurassic Park movie that's supposed to come out next year.
July 2nd, 2025. We don't know. No one's coming back. We know none of the original, like, they've confirmed that, like, no Sam Neill, no Jeff Goldblum, no Laura
Well, they did that
Dern.
with the last movie.
Right, they were in Dominion, and they're like, that was that.
Kind of wrap that up.
That's
And
that.
also,
We all have to watch that movie eventually. You know that, right?
Dominion?
Yeah.
Oh, I watched it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Zach and I.
the next,
It
time,
is-
the next
it's
time
like-
I'm on a plane, it will.
Jurassic
Yeah.
World
Yeah.
Dominion is like 4 small movies put together that take place in the Jurassic franchise, and they're like, this one's a James Bond movie. This one's a love movie. It's very weird. It's very weird.
Okay.
But yeah, we don't know if this is like a full reboot. We don't know. We assume it is, I guess. But it doesn't seem like none of those older actors are coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Pratt and
Bryce Dallas
Howard are not coming back as far as we know.
Got it.
So it could be a whole new restart. We were kind of talking about this.
We pitched our own Jurassic shows,
Yes,
didn't we?
yes.
Movies. Yeah. I've got another one.
But like, what do you think? They can't like redo the first movie again, right? That doesn't work.
Why not? It's been 30 years.
I guess. I mean, my
Yeah,
whole,
but it's never dated. You know what I mean? Like it's still constantly relevant and
Right.
perfect. So you don't fix what's not broken. I don't think it's so pure. And then like they've tried to encapsulate it. They want to keep the franchise going because of the strength of the first movie.
Right.
So you redo that, you're just shitting on it, right?
It's like, yeah, if they just redo the first movie, the whole time you're gonna be, well, I know what happens, right? Like it fails and blah blah blah.
Yes.
It's no fun.
I think the thing that's exciting here is Gareth Edwards famously made The Creator cheap. And that movie looks great. I think it has some script issues. It's not like a perfect film by any means, but like I think he made it for under $100 million. He made that for less money than Madam Web was made for.
dear.
And it looks incredible, especially every shot has like a half-faced android or like these crazy cityscapes that
I think
look
that was
unreal.
ILM, wasn't it?
Yeah, well,
sure
and
it
like
worked on it.
he said that technology's come so far
Mm-hmm.
that if you're savvy, you can have a small crew and do all this. You could do really elaborate stuff pretty cheap and pretty easy. So I'm interested to see with this big studio budget what he's able to do, and maybe he keeps that kind of thrifty mentality and he's able to tell a different kind of story in the Jurassic World sphere than some of these.
What
other
if we don't
directors
see a
have.
single dinosaur in the movie? It's a human story.
What if the dinosaurs are breeding human DNA?
Oh, it's like a switch. It's like
Yes. But I
Where
also
like
thought
a man wakes up in the morning and he sips his coffee and he takes a shower and he gets ready and he's gonna go to his job and he walks out the door and boop, he hits glass. And he looks through the glass, and on the other side are a bunch of dinosaurs watching him.
There's a pteranodon.
Amazing.
And he's in a human zoo on Dinosaur Planet. That's the name of the movie, Jurassic Planet.
Do you know what I think could be a realistic thing, though? We were talking about the first movie being so perfect. Where could they take it? Kids have grown up.
Oh, like the Jeff Goldblum kids and including the little boy from that is still an active actor. He was in Bohemian Rhapsody and right.
In the Pacific.
They grow up. It's their adult story of revisiting childhood trauma. Of
Again, no dinosaurs in the movie. It's my bad parents.
It's mostly therapy and flashbacks and medication.
I can't go into kitchens.
They're like, Mom, why can't I go on this field trip? You can't leave my sight. What am I dinosaurs? Mom, I just want to have a treehouse in the back. I don't like to climb trees.
Mom, I'm riding home with Greg. He drives a Jeep.
He left us. He left us. But that's not what I'm gonna do. Eat the Jello.
I tried.
Eat the Jello. Do the neck. Gotta get the neck. Hey.
Is that it?
I'd be traumatized to ever use a toilet.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Right
They
off the
saw all
lawyer,
of
right?
that.
Well, he's not.
Anytime they
he's
get
dead.
yelled at,
He's dead
they
in trauma.
freeze.
Yeah, but they saw him, right? Weren't they there?
Yeah, they saw him.
Yeah, they saw
One was
him.
under a car, I think, at that stage.
Oh, that's true. I never
Yeah.
watched.
Ian Malcolm was near there. He got crushed by
Freeze!
this. Ian, freeze!
So bad. I want to watch that again immediately.
But my whole thing with this movie is the first Jurassic Park, 94, right? It worked so well because it was like incredible to see on the big screen. That was part of it, right?
Yeah.
The dinosaurs looked really good. And to our untrained eyes in the 90s, we thought it was real or whatever. Like, it just looked great. And I don't think any of the Jurassic World movies ever captured that spectacle in a really good way. It never looked like incredible. It was so much CG.
They should have
just
imported
over
the
top.
dinosaurs and just used the real dinosaurs.
Use real dinosaurs. Go to Area 51. Get the dinosaurs.
Whoa.
But I think the big challenge with this movie is to find that again. Like, if they were like, James Cameron is making the next Jurassic Park movie, I would be all in.
I don't know. I
Because
feel
it would
pretty
look
good
incredible.
about- I feel good
When you
about
go
Gareth
and see
Edwards.
those Avatar movies at the theater with the glasses, it looks good. It looks great.
We get Kate Winslet doing mocap for T-Rex.
Yeah, that's what I say. Get her in there. Make her pull a Zemeckis. Have her be every character in the movie. Okay.
Yes, this is all good stuff. I'm excited.
Kate
about
Winslet
it
can
now.
do it. Put her in the water again.
Kate Winslet can do anything.
All water. She'd be that one dinosaur that eats the sharks.
You could call it Mayor of Beast Town.
I like that one.
Okay, on that note, before we move on, we wanted to thank our sponsor this week on The Break Room, Blue Chew. BlueChew.com is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost that you can take away at any time to get that extra confidence in bed. Signing up is super easy to do and all done online. You can go to BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days, shipped directly to your door. No need to go to a pharmacy or a doctor's office, any of that stuff. If you're skeptical or you don't think you need it, try it free for a month and see. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our audience. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code BREAKROOM at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code BREAKROOM to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. Thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring the show. Okay. And, of course, we want to shout out our friends. Some of the colors are blue, but all of them are fun to chew. We're talking about Jelly Bean Planet right here. March is Easter month.
And my birthday month.
Oh,
Hey,
happy birthday.
and you know, right after Easter and Valentine's Day, Maud's birthday is one of the main Jelly Bean holidays
It is.
Yeah.
celebrated in North
I've
America.
eaten enough jelly beans in my lifetime to warrant that being a holiday.
You all right?
Oh,
You okay, Amber?
I got a couple of jelly beans in my mouth.
If you go, if maybe you already have your Easter plans, but if they're still working on them and you've got plenty of time, head to Amazon.com or click the link in this video's description and search there for Jelly Bean Planet. They've got a bunch of different sizes and containers. I'm holding one of their 42.5 ounce,
Boom.
big old nice jugs of jelly beans. Maud's got one of
Ready?
the Papa Beans.
It's purple.
Ooh.
I'm learning my colors. This is very helpful. Thank you.
I was looking at the screen. I was like,
Do
where
you know
is
what
it?
color it
It's
is?
the same color as them.
It's
Oh
purple.
yeah, they're all delicious. No GMOs or bad stuff in these. A bunch of tasty flavors. Again, in all kinds of assortments and sizes. Fill up that Easter basket. Okay, even if you don't have a child or somebody in your life that you're making an Easter basket for, make yourself one. Okay, treat yourself.
It's true.
This Easter. He is risen. The link in the description, or find them on Amazon. Thank you again to our friends at Jelly Bean Planet. Now let's pivot to my favorite feature of the Monday episode, the Mod Monday Minute.
Yeah, it's just a little headline show where if we don't have enough of a story that warrants a discussion about it, we just shove it in. And I tell you quick headlines of the stuff that you may have missed over the weekend in Nerd News. I would like 60 seconds on the clock.
I'm really worried about Mod. We let her have too many jelly beans.
Oh, get started! Let's go! The new Harry Potter series being produced by Warner Brothers is slated for 2026 and will air on the streaming platform of Max. Original creator J.K. Rowling is involved. I didn't know that.
I think
thought
you
she'd-
have to involve her.
Oh, okay. Vin Diesel announced on Instagram that Fast 11's likely going to be the franchise's final installment. Anyone who has OCD where things have to end on an even number, I apologize. That's going to suck for you. According to Vanity Fair, Barry Keoghan
Keegan.
will return. It's a Scottish name, I think.
Yes.
Irish. My bad. Hey, he's going to return as the Joker in Batman Part 2. Now, it's funny to say he'll return. He literally had 6 seconds of screen time.
That's a return.
Yeah,
That's
like
a return.
a corner of his face.
They're going to do more than
There's
a
also
blurry
that-
image.
That longer clip.
I have 10 seconds.
Okay, I'm sorry.
During an interview on the red carpet for the most recent premiere of Dune Part 2 in New York, Florence Pugh confirmed that she's already started shooting for Thunderbolts. That film is now scheduled for release May 5, 2025. Also speaking,
Good.
Oh, okay. Good job. Sorry, I talked.
Mark Ruffalo can't do another Hulk because it's too expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's basically it. He was doing an interview and said that he'll probably never get a standalone Hulk movie because it's so expensive to CGI the character. He joked that he's priced himself out.
Which is crazy. You pointed this out. They do lots of movies with mocap.
Fully,
They
the
keep it
Planet
that
of the Apes
expensive.
is literally all CGI.
They've already built the design. Like,
Have you noticed,
he looked
though-
great in the She-Hulk series because they were probably just taking the files over from the other computer.
Yeah. But, I mean, we had an Edward Norton Hulk, we had a
Right.
Eric Banner Hulk,
Yeah.
and since then, Hulk has never in the Marvel Universe had his own standalone. He's been tacked on
Right.
to Thor's storyline. He's been tacked on to
You want to know?
She-Hulk's.
You want to know why I think that is?
Why is
Because it's a
that?
bad story. Because your Hulk movie is either he has control of his powers and he's fighting something super strong, or he's lost control of his powers.
And we Jekyll and
they've
Hyde
done that
in the Marvel
They've done that
movies.
twice already with like the Incredible Hulk. And the Ang Lee Hulk is kind of he's not in control of his powers. Incredible Hulk is about him learning to control his powers, but he doesn't control his powers. And like both Avengers 1 and 2 dealt with uncontrolled Hulk. You know, he almost kills Natalie and he almost kills Tony Stark.
Son
It's
of
like
a
that
dick,
story's
yeah.
not fun either.
It is.
So
It is
what is the
interesting.
story you
And
tell with
What
the
can
Hulk?
you do?
I will say this, and you know, I think Ruffalo is being sincere there. Though, don't you think there's a world in which back at Marvel headquarters they're like, RDJ's done, Chris Evans is done, ScarJo's done. We could do a Hulk thing, you know, as
Yeah.
kind of a throwback to Phase 1 and 2. It's out there. You could do Planet Hulk. You could do some, or just run it back and do a similar storyline to what you're talking about. But like, it's their opportunity to get one of the marquee Avengers headlining a film.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not, or maybe he's also best. He's the Kramer of the Avengers. You know what I mean? He's best as a sidekick in somebody else's property.
Yeah, I think he does work well as like a pair. It's fun to see him paired up with other characters,
I think he peaked in Ragnarok, personally.
like the character of the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now they have like Smart Hulk, right? Where he's like, oh, I've learned to be both. I can talk normally as Hulk.
But we got that in She-Hulk, where
Yeah.
he's also a
Yeah.
secondary
And so it's like, yeah, what do you do with it? He either loses his power or like he's leveled it up to the point where it's good.
I mean, if he was a god, he would have gotten a trilogy.
Right.
But he's not.
Yeah, I think you could do like the Planet Hulk story, right? Which they've always, or World War Hulk, which they kind of get around that. They're always like, oh, they're gonna make that movie where it's about him going to a planet where it's like other strong people and blah blah blah. I don't know. I do like the idea of like what they've done in the comics where Hulk's just pissed at everyone because they're like, listen, buddy, we had to get rid of you because you're a menace.
You're
And
a
it's like,
liability.
"Oh, you tried to kill me. I'm gonna kill all of you now." Like that Hulk I kind of like, but they're not gonna do that with Mark Ruffalo. They're not gonna
It's
turn the
too
Hulk
sweet.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you do with
Edward
him.
Norton, believable. Mark Ruffalo, no.
No.
He's
too nice a guy.
I say you do like an indie Hulk movie. Like take one of Ruffalo's other projects that he wants to do and make it be about the Hulk. Like, they're putting too much poison into the water around here. Oh, they had to crack some skulls.
Is Stallone in this movie?
No, that's kind of what he sounds like.
That was good. That
He
was
does.
good.
He has Ruffalo's a great actor. There's a little bit of a mushmouth.
Well, now that he does Smart Hulk, like Ragnarok Hulk is a little bit of the, hey, don't touch my stuff when you come in my room. Hey, pretty lady gonna fight with me, huh?
What are the odds? Now, we've, in the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, people have kind of identified what looks like to be Hulk's bed from Ragnarok
Okay, yeah.
on Sakaar. What are the odds that Ruffalo's Hulk shows up in Deadpool and Wolverine?
He is a little bit of a side piece, isn't he? Like he's been passed around,
Yeah.
never the headline act.
And Ruffalo seems happy to show up in little cameo roles, right? He's,
Hey, I got $4 million for being in this movie in 30 seconds.
God. Give him an Oscar, folks. Is this Marky Ruffalo over here?
Hey, my wife Flower is gonna get me out of this problem. Her
It's
name's
just
like
an
Flower or
amalgamation of-
Sunshine? Maybe Sunshine.
4 different people.
Mark Ruffalo's wife's name is like Sunshine or
Oh.
We got a fact
Flower
check.
or something like that.
Wow.
It's probably just Rose.
Diving into the rumor mill for just a moment, Blade, the Mahershala Ali film, is rumored to have a significant role, or not Blade the film, Blade the character, in Marvel's upcoming Zombies animated project. And apparently Mahershala Ali will be voicing the character in that. And Scoopers have also shared that Blade is well on its way with rewrites, the film, and Mahershala Ali is reportedly happy with the new direction of the film. Again, reminder that movie was supposed to come out last year. It has
fucking
not
movie,
begun
dude.
filming yet for a
fucking
2025
It hasn't
release.
started yet?
No.
Oh, Lord.
I bet too, like whatever his role in Marvel Zombies was much longer. And they're like, hey, we had to cut all this out because this was all based on a movie you didn't make. So
maybe.
we had to cut some of this.
Well, but if Marvel Zombies is set in an alternate multiverse kind of story,
I think it's just sad that like this is taking so long and it's such a mess.
Give us some Blade.
yes. Though, again, I'm always of both minds on these things. On the one hand, it feels like, yeah, you guys should be knocking this out. This is like a fun concept, should be an easy formula to nail. But also, hey, take your time and do it right.
No, I'm all for that too, but
Yeah.
it's embarrassing that
Yeah.
it's been such a clusterfuck in the news.
Yes.
it's
Very
their, and it's their
public.
fault for being like, hey, here's the next 4 years.
Kidding, psych, haha, no.
No, oh, you guys didn't like that last one we did? Uh-oh.
Who's this? Marky Ruffalo?
It's Mark Ruffalo.
Close personal friend of Maude Garrett, Josh Brolin, confirmed he will not be appearing in the Deadpool and Wolverine.
I called it.
Yeah.
Body language expert.
Either
Garrett.
as
Read mine.
Thanos or Deadpool.
You did the line test, right? You drew the line.
Oh, I know
It's
what
a
you're
thing-
talking
it's a
about.
thing
It's
that-
when you that's if a relationship's gonna last.
Oh, is that
And
what
it's
the
how
line's
they
for?
stand.
They draw. It's how people are standing and who has the most power, and they draw like a little line.
It's like at the moment you two look real cozy, and I look like I'd rather be elsewhere.
if you're like
Check out
standing
that
up
body
straight,
language. Check
you
out-
have the power. But if you're leaning, you're giving power.
Yeah.
I don't know. These crazy Gen Z
It
kids.
explains it because all of my photos with exes, I've got them in a headlock.
That's assault, Maude. Okay.
A salty attitude.
I've been waiting for us to roll this graphic for so long.
Oh, you better
Yeah,
have
so
a
roll that
flicking
thirsty
tongue.
thespian graphic. There
So
it is.
stupid. This doesn't even make
Hasn't
sense.
been
anymore.
updated since early 2023.
Yay.
But we've got some thirsty thespian news. Not like Josh Brolin who and Mark Ruffalo, who are both quenched. They say, no, I'm not appearing in upcoming things. But actor David Krumholtz, who you'll recognize from a million things, including recently Oppenheimer.
The one of my favorite roles of his had 10 Things I Hate About You. 10 Things I Hate
Oh,
About
I
You.
forgot he was in
He's
that.
how? That was like the birth of his being on the map.
A prominent role in the Santa Claus franchise. I think, was he also in Newsies?
He was in Newsies.
Yep, as
I'm
a
just
young
gonna say
man.
that as yes.
He was a child actor that
He was in
transitioned.
Adam's Family Values.
Oh, he was.
wow.
He was Wednesday's crush.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
And he has been iconically Jewish, I believe, in every role.
Iconic.
And that's important for the
Yeah.
story.
So he's been doing a lot of press around his Oppenheimer role, and he mentioned that he campaigned aggressively to play Thing in the Fantastic Four film.
And now that's why it's important, because it was Hector Navarro on this panel who said if we get a Thing, he has to be Jewish, because it is such a very precise and
there's so
the
few
substance
like
of the character.
openly Jewish.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
irony
heroes.
of most iconic superhero characters were created by Jewish men, and yet so few of them are in canon Jews. And I believe Eben Moss Bacharach confirmed Jew.
I believe so. I don't
I
think
don't
they
know.
would have done it.
I don't want to speak on it, but
I don't think
maybe
they would
he's
have done it if I think they were looking for a Jewish actor to play
Okay,
the role.
maybe of descent. Maybe his mother was Jewish. We don't know. And there's no way for us to find out. At the
But I kind
BAFTAs
of love that for him, by the way, because he was never going to be Thing. He was never going to be the big burly.
I like him going for it, especially if they're
I
like,
do
hey,
too.
you're gonna be 99% CGI. Like I could do a voice.
Why not?
It's fine.
And I'll act the hell out of it and whatever.
would have.
Yeah.
Paul would
Yeah.
have.
He's great.
I don't think he was in Newsies.
Oh, was he not? Okay.
He was like the only child actor to not be in that movie.
Christian Bale, of course, prominently.
Prominently.
At the BAFTAs, David Tennant, talented actor with quite the resume, told reporters he wants to return as Kilgrave in the MCU.
The MCU could use a Kilgrave 2.0 as well.
How do you bring him back? Do you pull like a comic books like? He's
I've
just
told
not
you
dead.
this. I've told you this so many times. The reason why it is nerds is because no one ever really dies, and that is the fundamental law of comic books. They're never gonna die
Right.
because they're written by nerds.
Yeah, but
Nerds and
how do you do it in like a? How do you bring him back into the MCU?
Could you do a flashback? Or maybe they. I mean, we're gonna have Fantastic Four set in the '60s. Why not have another show
Multiverse.
set in the early 2000s?
What if he's? What if it's revealed that he was a twin and his name is Livgrave, and he uses his powers for good?
How long did you spend thinking on that before you
Not
said
long
it?
enough.
Oh,
Clearly, I didn't have time to
what's
workshop.
the opposite of a grave? Live womb, kill grave.
Oh, see, that's 10 times better immediately.
Okay, well, he's standing on my shoulders.
That's right.
That's true.
I did 90% of the heavy lifting.
Watch him take full credit.
He will.
That's
Absolutely.
how
He will.
that goes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely will.
Your back is going to be sore for a while.
Speaking of talented actors, Coleman Domingo, currently Academy Award nominated for his role in the film Rustin, is out there doing some press around that, and he's been rumored to be a replacement for Kang. He did some press and he had this to say: "My team has had conversations with Marvel about some aspect of the MCU for years. I would welcome a conversation around it. There's hearsay, there's conversations, but I'm not sure because I feel like nothing comes to me until there's something real. But I'd be down with it."
Can I read between the lines?
Yes.
He read for the role.
Like before or recently?
Oh, like when they picked Jonathan Majors.
Yep, he
Yeah.
read for the role. He missed out. And then they're going to come back and be like, hey,
Hey,
do you want to... We said no. We're going to say
we
yes
accidentally
now.
had the headshots stacked wrong. Ironically.
Would you believe it?
And we felt bad because we already called him and we said you could do it. We didn't want to take it back.
Yeah, that's why I reckon this is happening behind the
Very
scenes.
interesting.
This is all very strange because, yeah, what are they going to do? What are they
well,
going to do?
in like in the broad spectrum of things they could do, they could just peace out on Kang entirely, and we'd never
Right.
see him again, or don't
for a
necessarily
while.
hear from him. They could recast him. I mean, there's so many options. They could also just take some time off, and by the time this Avengers 5 and 6 roll around, right? Like maybe he sneaks
Yeah.
back in there. played
Maybe
by a different
Malekith
actor.
comes back and was like, I was actually king the whole time. Me, evil dark elf Malekith that you forgot from Thor the Dark World. I'm back, baby.
Speaking of actors who've played Doctor Who,
Yeah.
David Tennant,
Eccleston, right?
Christopher Eccleston.
Christopher Eccleston.
Destin,
was the doctor.
I think that concludes our Thirsty Thespians segment.
Okay.
And both
Cut it
of
off.
those, again, credit, the origin. If you're a recent watcher of The Break Room and you haven't been around for a while, we started that because there are always so many news items where actors were clearly advocating either to be cast in something or to have their character brought back in
Yeah,
future franchise installments. And so we coined Thirsty Thespians for that. And so,
Look, the hustle culture is real, no
Right.
matter where you're sitting at the table.
Yeah.
yes.
And
Well,
if you think you missed out, actor in the MCU, Ghost is coming back. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Abomination back in a big way, many times.
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster coming
Taskmaster.
back. Justin Hammer gonna come back, folks.
That's right.
If you're an MCU actor out of work, Keep pushing. You can get it back.
2025 is a hell of a year for MCU also rans.
Yeah.
Because between Thunderbolts and Brave New World,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not coming back in one of those two movies, fire your agent.
Yeah,
Okay?
Yeah.
exactly.
Get that Marvel moolah.
Yeah, Loki established that your variant might not even look like the actor who originally played them. Come on! Anyone could be anyone in the MCU.
Speaking of someone who is someone,
Oh, okay.
Destin Daniel Cretton, director of Shang-Chi, among other things, has his next project lined up. And it's not Marvel. This is, he's going to be directing a live-action adaptation of the Naruto
Sick.
manga from Lionsgate.
Or I do have, so the Naruto run is something that's, you know.
Arms back.
Yeah. How do you do that live action?
I mean,
I would
there's gonna be
say-
a lot of.
I would say my 20-year-old or 20-month-old daughter does it through our living room all the time, and she doesn't even know what Naruto is. I think it's just like a natural reflex.
assume
for
she doesn't
toddlers.
know what
That's what I mean.
Naruto
She's
is.
been watching it
I
without
got her
my
a
knowledge.
Crunchyroll subscription.
Exciting.
Yeah, and I think like the second any anime or manga adaptation gets announced, it sparks a lot of conversation online, with a lot of it being negative, right? People
Well,
are
Netflix
very
has
scared.
shat the bed a couple of times.
Yeah.
Bebop, not great. One Piece they did well, but with Avatar, it's not an anime by any stretch, but it is an animated show that was brought to life. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yes.
It's tough. What is the best cartoon animated adaptation into real life that has worked the best? Dora the Explorer. The movie they
City
made.
of Gold?
Is that what you do? Do you have to be silly about it? Can you do it like realistically?
And what are some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
That's right.
That might be a good example.
those
That
are-
might
I'm
be your
talking
best
from my
example.
Well, I
childhood.
mean, I
thought it
don't.
was great.
Again, mixed feelings, but all of the Disney musical, the Beauty and the Beast,
They're all
the
They're not great.
I don't think they've worked. I don't think they've worked well at all.
throw it in the chat. What do you think is the best
Cinderella's been good.
animation?
That
to
was
live
good
action?
because they expanded on the right things in that movie, and they
Kate
developed
Blanchett
the
was in
characters
it.
better. Yeah, and Kate Blanchett was in it. Daisy Jones? No, Lily. What?
Lily.
Lily Macbeth
No.
Thompson.
Lily.
Hamlet.
James.
James. Lily
Oh.
James. Lily James.
And speaking of Destin Daniel Cretton,
We're doing great, Mon.
Simu Liu, really the all-time all-star of Thirsty Thespians. Homeboy shot his shot for Shang-Chi
got it,
and
dude.
got
He
it.
got it.
Okay. He has confirmed that Shang-Chi is happening, saying Destin is such a special filmmaker, and we're very happy to have him on the sequel. So he'll be working on that, and we're really excited to see what he comes up with. I think he's going to do a brilliant job. Now, this film has not been slated. So probably, now we could hear something at D23 or San Diego Comic-Con this year, but like this is probably a 2027.
This is probably an after Avengers 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Secret
Oh, after
Wars.
6, you don't think it'll come in between?
I think this will be after Avengers Secret Wars.
So
Because
he's
I
going to be
think
how old now?
too old. Not too old, but it'll be like 10 no.
That's the hard part about
2021
this.
was when Shang-Chi came out.
Yes.
I think Marvel just needs to keep consolidating. You need to have your ensembles, your team ups, and it's like you try and fit as many into that as possible almost because you've done all the origin stories, I feel like.
Well, it is tough because if you're like, you keep introducing new characters and it's like, we want to do their sequels, but we got other stories.
it.
My theory is like they have a plan for, all the moving around and rewriting they're doing, I don't think Secret Wars has changed that much from whatever this is how the movie starts, this is how the movie ends plan. And I bet Shang-Chi is a piece of that. I'm sure they see Shang-Chi as like an Avenger right now that
Yes.
needs to be in Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. And they're like, we don't have time to squeeze in your story, which will probably involve your sister and the Ten Rings and her leading that organization. Maybe involves Talo again. I don't know. They probably just feel like we can't deviate from the path. You're going to be involved in the next 2 Avengers movies. We're going to see you there, and then we'll pick your story back up afterwards. That's my feeling on how this whole thing is being handled. Because I agree that they should have rushed into Shang-Chi 2 immediately.
Agree.
Especially if you're like introducing this character, you have these kids that are like hype about this character, asking them to wait nearly 10 years till they see this character again.
That's why it's like everyone needs to be a few more side pieces. Shang-Chi, put in Hulk.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't hate it. Well, and it's also, in a world where maybe they're doing a little less Disney Plus and trying to get back to a little bit more theatrical releases, right? Maybe getting back to 3-4, MCU releases in theaters every year.
Yeah.
Maybe
They
even
could catch up. And I could be wrong, and they could surprise us with hey, Shang-Chi 2's coming out before Secret Wars, but I don't know.
Yeah. Director Patrick Harpin recently shared some photos of a Batman animated project they pitched to Warner Brothers based on the Beyond run. Warner Brothers ultimately didn't move forward with the project, but they were really cool images, so we wanted to share them. Dashiell, can you pull those up?
Oh, wow.
God, can you imagine?
He's slender. Oh, no. He's an upside down triangle again there.
He's got the shoulders.
Whoa.
This story is so funny because it's like, oh, they wouldn't take our movie, but look how pretty it is. Everyone demand that they make it.
What's the thirsty thespian equivalent for an animator?
A talented person.
Well, yes, but this is clearly this guy being like, this show would have been cool. They didn't make it, but like hire us to do something else.
A parched animator? I don't know.
Or aggressive animator.
I can't say the word, so piece it together, but it looks like a Batman, like noir.
Noir?
N-O-I-R,
Yeah.
noir.
To it?
Yes.
So you're fine. You're
there's
fine.
a little cyberpunky. There's a little bit of Batman.
Batman Cyberpunk makes sense though.
Yeah.
He's got money,
In tech, yeah.
tech, people to do shit for him.
And
I want that.
Is Batman Beyond is set in the future? A future timeline?
Yeah, it's like older Bruce Wayne, beaten down, broken, and he gives his like power suit to a younger gentleman
Yeah,
whose
that
name I
was-
forget right now. But this story isn't very funny because it's like, oh, they wouldn't take our project. Everyone look at it. Look how pretty it is. And it's like Warner Brothers, at some point, Batman Beyond animated movie has been up on the whiteboard somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure
And
they're
could
always
still be.
considering it.
Could
And they
still
can
be.
still do it whenever they want.
I mean, maybe that's their next tax write-off. They're already planning now.
They're already planning to
We gotta do 2 of these
produce
a
and
year.
not release the movie.
Yeah, we got to do 2 of these a year. We got to create a film and then throw it in the garbage can.
We're still Acme versus Wild Coyote is
Dead.
off again.
Officially
right?
been,
It's gone. It's
They
gone for
refused
good
to
now?
sell it.
What, they're doing a live action one?
Huh?
What are they doing a live action?
No, there was
They
they
made-
shot it. It was all
Will
shot.
Forte, John Cena, they made a full, it was like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It was live action mixed with animation. They made a full, it was a musical, right? Or it had
Shut
musical elements.
I'm sure it had like musical. elements
They
to
made
it.
the entire film, scrapped it. There was
but
kind
then
of
but then they offered it up for sale. They got a bunch of offers. They were not what they wanted, and they were
so
like, no.
yeah, the latest news on this, and this is a
Back
tangent,
off.
I can't
but I think
stand it.
Netflix,
So mad.
Netflix or somebody offered them $40 million to release it.
Paramount
The-
offered them money too.
Maybe
I
that
think.
was it.
Yeah.
But the movie cost $60 million to make, and they were like, so we'll make more money by writing it off as a tax. thing.
Ridiculous.
Which is a shame for those filmmakers and everybody involved.
It should
Imagine.
belong to the people now.
won't.
I just feel so bad for the people that literally, like, it was their job and they poured their
Years
work
of their
into
life into it.
into their craft, and someone deemed meh.
Not only that, right? Like, not only does nobody get to see your hard work, but like, just professionally, you don't really have a credit
Yeah.
now, right? Like, you used up 2 years of your life, your professional life, on something that nobody has seen or heard of, and you can't really, point to any
And
sign
if
of
it's animated, all those late nights where they were asked to stay back and they weren't getting overtime and they had to tell their family, sorry, I can't make Mikey's birthday this year.
Oh, Mikey!
Sorry, Mikey. Hey, Mikey. Sorry, old man couldn't be there. Had to make an invisible barrel crush as if something animated fell on it. But the movie didn't come out, Mikey. I'm so sorry.
Who is
Who's this? Is this Mikey Ruffalo?
Mikey's dad. I'm Mikey Dad. Mikey, I'm so sorry, Mr. Birthday.
That's not giving, animator.
Dad, what happened between you and Mom?
It was a fucking animated movie that never got released. I swear to God, your mother, she never would have left if she had gotten to go to the Acme versus Wile E. Coyote premiere. She would have been so happy. Free popcorn she would have had. We would have still been together. I'm so sorry.
On the press tour for Dune 2, I'm moving this along. Does it hurt? Anyway, writer-director Denis Villeneuve says that he's already begun writing Dune Messiah. I have a feeling that he has to do this movie. He's
has
left
to.
it
Well,
on.
and as soon as this film comes out, and
Can I talk about it? Because I've seen it.
Yeah, please.
Spoiler free. But Denny does this very, very clever thing where he'll introduce a character
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the movie, and because they're a very marketable young star, thrust them into the press tour where everyone's so excited to see them in that movie, only to discover that their story's just begun right at the end.
It's smart.
And
It's
it was
good business.
Zendaya in part one as Chani, right?
Yeah,
And
good
who's
point.
been on the press tour this time round?
ATJ.
No.
Yeah. No?
Florence Pugh?
Oh.
Oh, well,
She
sure,
has a
her
bigger
too.
role in this movie,
Also,
though.
Anya Taylor-Joy was doing a little bit of
Yeah.
press. So she was at the London
Yeah, but-
premiere, right?
True.
Don't we get
but
more
I'm
Florence
I'm
Pugh in this
talking.
movie?
I realize now I said ATJ, which could be Aaron Taylor-Johnson, but I was thinking
No.
Anya Taylor-Joy. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's
Anyways.
okay. The way that the formulaic approach that Denny has is that it's a marketable young actress. And the way that the second movie is done, you're like, what now?
Right.
And so he makes people want this real damn bad. Which, honestly, after that first movie, I don't know why he just didn't get a 3-movie deal, personally. But
Well,
these are the times.
You know,
Well, we know Warner Brothers is a
yeah,
little
you know what
tight with the
studio
purse
he's dealing with
strings right now.
Well, and the first movie came out in COVID times, day
Right.
and date release,
It
so
got
like
pushed
it made a
back.
lot of money, but probably not as much as they would have loved.
This-
Denny seems like a nice, chill dude. During all of that, no one was going around being a maniac. He was like, I can't believe they did this to my Tenet, baby.
Well, and-
now it's back.
and-
You can go
and-
see Tenet in theaters again now.
And who knows what the under the table deal was there, but yeah.
Please see this movie.
Oh, Dune 2? I am
Yeah,
going
and on a big screen.
Saturday.
This is like I've been able to review it. The embargo has lifted, and my review is this movie is perfect.
Yep.
It's
Eric Voss called it a
perfect.
masterpiece.
It is perfect.
Echoed the same things in his.
There's
2
not-
hours and 45 minutes of absolute bliss. The storytelling is amazing. He ups the action completely in this. The acting is brilliant. This movie is so good.
Dune
It's
1.
so good.
Dune 1 was probably my favorite theatrical experience the last
Yeah.
5 years, and so I'm so excited.
There
for
are
this
shots
one,
in
yeah.
this movie where I was just like,
I'm just
Like-
excited for the lush tropical landscape.
Not-
No,
happen.
Brandon, I don't
What?
think you. Well,
No. No, it's not a sandy desert planet.
I'm looking forward to a lot of Giddy Prime time. You know what I'm saying?
I just want to hear that voice, that weirding.
the weirding module.
I want to feel it in the seat.
Mikey's dad. He's a Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I could not be at your birthday. I had to work on Acme versus Wildly Coordinating. I don't know why my weirding is Australian.
Yeah. Wow.
We gotta go down to the boom hole and have a bit of a billabong.
Bogans.
So offensive.
These Billy Bogans that come down to the billabong.
I'd watch it.
I just want to hear the voice. Is there a box in this one? Does anyone put their hand in any
I don't want to
boxes?
spoil anything. I feel
Is there a box?
What's
Do they
in,
put their hand in the box?
and what's in the box? Fear is the mind killer, Brandon. We're about to wrap things up here. Thank you all for watching along on Twitch or on YouTube. Stick around though. If you haven't already seen it, producer Evan, who's not here today, has a little message he would love to share with you. So you have to stick around and watch till the end.
I
Really
see what you're doing, by the way, with him. The award season's coming out. And I see the timing of this.
We're gonna get him a Clio, baby.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. It's on par with Dune 2, the thing that Evan has done for the end of this episode. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Follow Maud on all of her social platforms. Keep up with all her great work. Don't follow Brandon and I.
absolutely not.
Find something better to do with your time.
But get off the internet.
Oh, my Dune interviews are going up on Instagram and on TikTok if you want to check
You're doing
those out.
interviews?
Ooh.
My Dune 2 interviews.
On your TikTok? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. What's
and
it?
Instagram, at Maud Garrett.
At Maud Garrett.
Maud Garrett.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Hello? Oh, hey, I was just calling. Are we streaming today?
No, why? What's up?
Tom Holland just tweeted that he has a special announcement happening today.
Oh, that sounds pretty big. Man, do I have time to get my special lunch?
Yeah, maybe if you hurry.
It's even got a foldable frame.
Oh yeah, this bad boy goes 19 miles an hour. It's got a 35-mile range. The battery's got a 6-hour charge, and when it gets dark out, a little light automatically comes on the front to keep you safe.
It's all great, but is it fast enough for me to get my special lunch?
Yes, Evan, it's fast enough for you to get your special lunch. Oh yeah, this bad boy goes 19 miles an hour. It's got a 35-mile range. The battery's got a 6-hour charge, and when it gets dark out, a little light automatically comes on the front to keep you safe.
All right, I'm here. I ate my special lunch. I think we're ready to go, but no one's at the studio yet?
Oh my god, so sorry. No, the announcement was a false alarm. It turns out Tom Holland was just announcing that he adopted a dog and named it Tom.
Aw, Tom.